Terrance Stanley Fox was a Canadian athlete, humanitarian, and cancer research activist. In 1980, having had one leg amputated due to cancer, he embarked on a cross-Canada run to raise money and awareness for cancer research. The annual Terry Fox Run, first held in 1981, has grown to involve millions of participants in over 60 countries and is the world's largest one-day fundraiser for cancer research. Over $900 million has been raised in his name through the Terry Fox Research Institute as of September 2024. In 1980, he began the Marathon of Hope to raise money for cancer research. He hoped to raise $1 from each of Canada's 24 million people at the time. He began with little fanfare from St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador in April that year, and ran the equivalent of a full marathon every day. He had become a national star by the time he reached Ontario, and made numerous public appearances with businessmen, athletes, and politicians in his efforts to raise money. He was forced to end his run outside Thunder Bay after the cancer spread to his lungs. He died 9 months later, on June 28, 1981. Fox was the youngest person named a Companion of the Order of Canada and won the 1980 Lou Marsh Award as the nation's top sportsman. He was named Canada's Newsmaker of the Year in both 1980 and 1981 by the Canadian press. Considered a national hero, he has had many buildings, statues, roads, and parks named in his honor across the country. Terrance Stanley Fox was born on July 28, 1958, in Winnipeg, Manitoba, to Roland and Betty Fox. Roland was a switchman for the Canadian National Railway. Fox spent his childhood in the Transcona suburb of Winnipeg, where he attended Wayota Elementary School. Fox had an elder brother, Fred, a younger brother, Daryl, and a younger sister, Judith. Fox's maternal grandmother is Métis, and Fox's younger brother Daryl has official Métis status. The night before his cancer surgery, Fox had been given an article about Dick Traum, the first amputee to complete the New York City Marathon. The article inspired him. He embarked on a 14-month training program, telling his family he planned to compete in a marathon himself. In private, he devised a more extensive plan. His hospital experiences had made Fox angry at how little money was dedicated to cancer research. He intended to run the length of Canada in the hope of increasing cancer awareness, a goal he initially divulged only to his friend Douglas Allward. On October 15, 1979, Fox sent a letter to the Canadian Cancer Society, in which he announced his goal and appealed for funding. He stated that he would conquer his disability and promised to complete his run, even if he had to crawl every last mile. Explaining why he wanted to raise money for research, Fox described his personal experience of cancer treatment. I soon realized that that would only be half my quest, for as I went through the 16 months of the physically and emotionally draining ordeal of chemotherapy, I was rudely awakened by the feelings that surrounded and coursed through the cancer clinic. There were faces with the brave smiles and the ones who had given up smiling. There were feelings of hopeful denial and the feelings of despair. My quest would not be a selfish one. I could not leave knowing these faces and feelings would still exist, even though I would be set free from mine. Somewhere the hurting must stop, and I was determined to take myself to the limit for this cause. Fox refused to regard himself as disabled and would not allow anyone to pity him, telling a Toronto radio station that he found life more rewarding and challenging. Since he had lost his leg, his feat helped redefine Canadian views of disability and the inclusion of disabled people in society. Fox's actions increased the visibility of people with disabilities and influenced the attitudes of those with disabilities by showing disability portrayed in a positive light. Rick Hansen commented that the run challenged society to focus on ability rather than disability, writing, "What was perceived as a limitation became a great opportunity. People with disabilities started looking at things differently. They came away with huge pride." Over 300,000 people took part and raised $3.5 million in the first Terry Fox. Shortly after his death, Fox was named the Newsmaker of the Year for 1981, 113, and Canada Post announced the production of a commemorative stamp in 1981, bypassing its traditionally held position that stamps honoring people should not be created until 10 years after their death. In 2008, Fox was named a National Historic Person of Canada, a recognition given by the Canadian government to those persons who are considered to have played a nationally significant role in the history of the country. Fox's designation was due to his status as an enduring icon, his personal qualities, and for the manner in which the Marathon of Hope had captivated the country and resonated deeply with Canadians.